I'm Scott Chapman. I'm a scientist at CSIRO in St Lucia, and I'm at the GRDC update in Gundawindi, and we're here to talk about some research that we've been doing in sorghum for the last 5 years on high temperature adaptation. And what we've managed to find in that research is that there's genetic variability for heat tolerance in sorghum. High temperature events are a major concern for growers in the northern region. Temperatures over 38 degrees will cause pollen desiccation, and that reduces the grain set on the head and a reduction in yield. And we've been able to demonstrate that some genotypes are much more susceptible to the 38 degrees than other genotypes. There's two types of concerns. One is to do with the current management and genotype combinations. So the farmers are making decisions when they get a planting opportunity what genotype they're going to grow, and that decision will influence the timing of the flowering, which will intersect with the high temperatures. So for all of the northern region, obviously the greatest risk is to have high temperatures during December, January, and for most of the locations that coincides with the sowing date in sort of early to mid-October. So if you're planting at that time of year, that's when you'll experience the greatest risk that you'll have high temperatures just as the spike or the head is emerging from the boot, and that's when the crop's most susceptible. The best current management option is to try to plant a little bit earlier or a bit later than those early to mid-October dates. That'll help reduce the risk that you'll get hit at the most sensitive time. The sorghum breeding program, which is based out of the University of Queensland and QAFI and the State Department, have an active sorghum effort, and they're very interested in trying to work on high temperature. In the case of sorghum, one of the concerns we have is that when we compare the temperatures from about 30, 40 years ago to the temperatures that we have now, we know that in the cropping regions that we've had an increase of 0.5 to 1 degree in most cases. It changes a lot across Australia. But what's of more concern is we may only have a small increase in the mean temperature, but in some locations we've had a change in frequency of hot days from 2% per year to 10% per year if you measure them as greater than 36 degrees. And so if there is further increase in temperature in the cropping environments, the biggest concern is that we'll get more of those hot days. And in terms of breeding, we will take 10 years to deliver these types of things into germplasm. So if the climate's changing ahead of us, we need to try and catch up. So right now in Gundawindi, I think it's about 40 degrees Celsius. It certainly feels like it to me. And I've already talked to several growers yesterday who are concerned about the heat. They've got sorghum crops right now that are probably quite susceptible and could be damaged. And a key message for those people is that we've got genetic variation for heat tolerance. We know the mechanism. We have a screening procedure that allows us to identify better germplasm. So it's entirely in our hands to be able to develop improved germplasm that can be fed into the commercial production system.